Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
Welcome to an of emergency episode of Las Blancas. We are recording this because a big news just broke out. It's not a news, it's actually a confirmation. Alberto Toril has left the club.
Yeah.
He's no longer the manager of Real Madrid FEM, and that is that. We are currently managerless. We'll soon probably get to know our new manager. There are a couple of rumored names which we'll talk about. But what a few days it has been. First, the Champions League final, which Barcelona ended up losing to Arsenal 1-0. Then this news comes out. It's been a quite a whirlwind of a few days in women's football as well. That final, of course, and then it was Mary Earps announcing her international retirement just a couple of months before the Euros. Not even a couple of months, just 50 days out from the Euros. And now this trumps everything. Honestly, if you ask me, this is the biggest news right now in women's football, that Real Madrid manager Alberto Toril is no longer Real Madrid manager, which is, if you ask any fan, I think the sentiment around it, and if you see the reaction, I think it says a lot. So I'll get your reactions, Kanita. How are you feeling about this?
Man, it's been like 40 minutes since the Comunicado Oficial came out, and there's like over 700 quotes right now, like 1600 likes. Is like people are going crazy. Like neutrals
Yes,
are celebrating right now because they know how much we longed for this day. It was so
true,
weird, but
true.
like it's these few days hasn't haven't also haven't just been wild in Warsaw. It's been also within the club, because we had obviously Xabi Alonso came to coach the men's side, but we also had like changes in Castilla, in Juvenil, all those coaches, and people were just saying, "Okay, it's your turn, RMF, it's your turn." Today was our turn finally. And I was like, oh my god, I don't know, I like the first time I actually saw the tweet wasn't from a notification from Real Madrid. Just someone mentioned me in a quote on the tweet. That's literally how I found out, from a friend said, "Oh my god, congratulations, Kanita." And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is how I found out. I can't believe." Like I had to check, is this the official Real Madrid account? Because there were fans that longed for this, and they just like made a fake account and name and send Comunicado Oficial to it. It's real, and I was like, oh my god, I was screamed. I literally screamed. I had a dance party a couple of minutes ago. So yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like the reactions just say a lot. I like we weren't planning on doing this at all. I was about to head to sleep, honestly, and I wasn't even checking Twitter until somebody uh added both of us, I think, and said we are free. And I was like, what are they talking about? And I checked that it was, I was expecting a renewal of some sort, but fortunately it was a departure message, which is great. But yeah, it's, I think, you know, uh, it's it's 1 year too late, maybe 2 years too late, maybe. But I'm pretty happy that we are making the change, because I think the club uh stopped moving forwards in a way, in terms of tactical development and everything. But I think it's also the 2 year anniversary of that
The final, yes.
that infamous night in Copa de la Reina, which we lost due to whatever reasons. We won't go back there because it hurts still. But yeah, I mean, some dates become more important somehow, and I think this is one of those dates. 158 games. 112 odd wins.
Yeah.
It's a lot, like even if you know we weren't the most happiest, we cribbed a lot. And honestly, like a lot of it was most of it was fair, because watching this team week in and week out, and not just looking at the points table, I think it's we had a very fair judgment of where the team was heading despite all of its talent, and it was heading nowhere. We did not have a clear identity. In a couple of games we do some bits, but a lot of the times it was just uh playing, our top players, our best players playing the best and sort of carrying the team out of misery somehow. Set piece defending over all of those 158 games, terrible. Defending in general, terrible. No structure, nothing. And we have had good players as well. So overall, looking back, if we, in a couple of years time, when we are more established, when we have better players, even when we are one of the top sides in women's football, I think when we look back at Real Madrid's history, I think it's difficult to ignore his name. It's difficult to ignore somebody's name who has managed 158 games, who has overseen 158 games, who has overseen the first Clasico win under him. So I think he will remain a part of the history whenever we speak about Real Madrid and their development. But I think this change was long overdue. What do you think, Kanita?
Definitely overdue. Like you said, I'll agree that it was 2 years overdue. Honestly,
Yeah,
he should have been fired after that cup final. Instead, he got a 2 years renewal a year after that, and he got let go now, which is 1 year earlier. And might be because he's going to coach some, I don't know, academy side again, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know why would he. I don't care where he goes now. At this point, I don't care.
yeah,
But
it's
I'm
it's
just saying the maybes. No,
yeah, it's the case of not my circus, not my monkey sort of situation.
exactly.
Like we don't
Yeah.
care anymore.
It's just been I mean, obviously that final first comes to my mind, but aside from the final, there were those absolute abysmal Champions League campaigns we had the past 2 years. Like this year obviously we came to the quarterfinals, but it's those 2 years just terrible. It was due to um squad management, game management, very bad decisions all around, and his hierarchy he put up, and he didn't want to let it go, and it was so frustrating. And due to that, connecting to that, like so many players leaving because he would stop just playing them without any explanation to why, and they would ask, and they would never get an answer. Just just sit on the bench after playing well. Who cares? And there have always been these things that were just so irritating. And well, like, when will he go? Like, he's actively ruining these players' careers. Like, I don't know how many more can we handle. And and I mean, this season in particular, there was a lot of records broken, but we also saw a lot of problems as well. Like you said, like almost no improvements. Like, improvements we saw was actually just individuals, like you said, bringing it to the table. And set pieces, like you said, nada, zilch, absolutely no improvement there. And every time we complain about something, it just it's the same story all over again. We just repeat the same record every time, and never changes. So yeah, I don't know. I just hope we get someone from with experience. But
Yeah.
right now in this moment, okay, it's been like 40-45 minutes at this point, and right now I just care that he's gone. Okay, just
Yeah, I mean it's sort of a, this can be the sort of moment where it all turns around, where we start playing more coherent football, where we start seeing the best of the players that we have. And I think my major frustration stem from the fact that he was very ignorant of the fact that we weren't progressing. Like after every heavy defeat, it was the same thing that, oh, we are a new team, we are progressing. Last year we had 0 wins in the group stage, or 0 points or whatever, and this year we have more points, we are into the quarterfinals and everything. So it's that was what like really irked me always. Whenever it was a big game against Barcelona, even before the game kicked off, it was always like, okay, we are a new team, we have to take the learnings. Like I understand that as a thing you have to say, but I think in the games as well, like we went what 2 years without scoring a goal against them. Like that's pretty shambolic, honestly. And yet somehow those games, these big games, weren't a yard scale by which he was judged with, which is like so random. Because if you're not winning these big games, if you're not competing in these big games, then what exactly are you doing? Because you will have to face these better sides, you will have to face these top teams to sort of get to where you want, which is at the top of the footballing pyramid, right? Like you want to be in those top teams that consistently compete for European glory, that get to at least semi-final stage, or be that top four sides who are consistently challenging for those semi-final spots in the Champions League, consistently challenging for the league as well. Like this season, yes, I mean we did not expect it, but like losses against Eibar, difficulties in breaking down a deep block have always persisted. It is always somehow, Caroline Weir or Linda Caicedo doing something, and us just expecting that. There have been a lot of times where we have had to make comebacks in games that should have been comfortable wins. We messed it up against Depor, which is very weird. Last two games of the season, again, very weird. Then some of the calls, like when a player is going to depart, we are playing the last final home game, not giving them the opportunity. So some of these management things that, if a player is leaving, like that, if the biggest thing for me was that Copa de la Reina final,
Yeah.
how Esther was somehow completely shut out of the team after that international break in early April, despite her starting every single game before that. It's ridiculous, honestly, and that costed us a trophy. She did not even get on the pitch. Bringing on Freya in the final minutes when you need a goal, when it's heading to penalties, getting a player who is not going to help you in those penalty shootouts, the lineup for penalties in that game, it's all very weird, right? Like it's all absolutely shambolic, and I think that is what really really pissed me off in a lot of ways. What was the one thing that really rubbed you the wrong way, or what is the one thing that you take it as a positive from his tenure?
Uh, well, as as a positive, I well, I can. The most recent thing is, well, at least he showed like this season, he showed some passion um on the sidelines, because usually you'd see him just not moving there, at the bench, just like a statue. But this season, I've seen at least that he cared. And well, the celebration of goals in El Clasico, so that's fine. And the way that um well, that Weir talked about how he came while she was recovering, and he'd come to the uh to the hospital and ask her. But like, I'm just listing things that are like off of the tactics of the managerial thing. It's just
Yeah.
like the kind of relationship with the club and the players, who are suffering. So yeah. But on the other side, there are like so many things that piss me off in that sense as well. Like on another spectrum, another side of that spectrum is the how he handled some other players in the past. And like, I don't know, you mentioned Esther, but there were like a few players that he would constantly like bring on to warm up for games on, and like for 30 minutes or more, and wouldn't put them on, and would repeat from game to game. And I'm mentioning also a final because and I will never forget this, that he put Naikari to warm up for 90 minutes in pouring rain, like 90 minutes after the first half ended, and up until the f- uh, you know the end of the extra time, pouring rain, and poor girl was warming up the whole time. She played the entire cup, by the way. She scored. She was handling that competition very well. And she didn't even come on, neither her nor Esther. Esther was also warming up for a long time, but I know for a fact that Naikari was for like 90 minutes. And things like this, like these continuous things that he would like mess around with the players and like in the heads. And I don't know, he would tell someone that he would go up on pitch, but she wouldn't play. I think that this happened like with Carla in the I think in the last home game I saw her warming up on the sidelines, and she just didn't come on. Things like this. It's been present since he came, and it's really pissed me off. So this two kinds of sides of the spectrum that he showed to me, like one very bad and one sweet, then with some of the players. But again, he had this hierarchy which he would not let go ever. And it's really frustrating. I just hope like whoever comes that doesn't have that strict hierarchy, that acts with by seeing the performance of their players. And yeah, I don't know, it's just 3 years of this, like 3.5 years of this, and it's, I don't know, I can't believe it's come to an end.
Yeah, I think when he was appointed, the major thing for me was the fact that he had never worked in women's football.
Mm,
I think that really did not sit right with me, and I think we saw that in a lot of ways throughout his tenure, that maybe he is not the most understanding of this environment, of this bubble that is women's football, and he wasn't ready to adapt. He was trying to bend things to his own ways, which isn't the right approach. Speaking of things that frustrated me, I think this season when we had such a good squad, where we could at least go for some trophies, or at least compete in some finals in the cup tournaments as well. uh, I think the rotation every game with the defense, with the strikers, initially it was like 11, 12 games
mm,
where we did not, where there was not one game where we did not make a change, where we kept changing our back line somehow. Very frustrating, never gave team that stability. I don't think I'm not even sure how many games this season we have played with the same lineup in back to back games. Cannot be many, because I stopped counting after a while. And
same.
it's crazy, like changing lineups in every single game became a part, like we were so accustomed to it that, oh yeah, of course the same center back pairing is not going to play, or even if they are playing, they'll play on the opposite side somehow. Then these things happened in the past as well, when it was Ivana, and then Ivana was doing good on one side, and then she was shifted to the other side the next season, putting every other player as well in a tough spot, which is very weird. When something is working, you try to big brain it and you ruin it. That was the most frustrating part for me, like, because these things are simple basic things where you put players in positions where you can get the maximum out of them, where their abilities are maximized, and he did not do that. And I think over his entire tenure, I think we haven't seen really like any player sort of reach their maximum potential. Of course, like uh Caroline Weir has done a tremendous job. Linda Caicedo has done a tremendous job. Lakrar coming in this season has done a brilliant job, but I wouldn't really put that down to the manager. Like Caroline Weir was an outrageous player. She came in and she went to another level with the sort of leadership role that she took up immediately, and I think that was really really important. Last season when she was missing, I think his entire setup failed because his entire setup was Caroline Weir. When she wasn't on the pitch, it really did not work. There was nobody to bail his bad tactics out, and
Yeah.
that really hurt the team last season. We had a terrible campaign in the Champions League. We had a really poor league season as well. We weren't even like, we kept saying multiple times that we weren't even the second best team in terms of play style last season, right? Like
Yeah.
we had Levante, we had all these teams playing better football than us. So, in terms of pure footballing sense, I think this entire tenure was not that great. Fortunately, over his time at the club, we have seen the arrivals of some really, really good players. Like this squad at the start of his tenure compared to now is like it's night and day, honestly. Like we have had so many quality players come in. Now this squad looks very complete in a lot of sense, but there are still gaps that hopefully we address this summer, and hopefully we can get a manager who can sort of at least maximize or have a clear tactical identity according to which we can then go on to recruit players and play them, because that is vitally important. I think there are a couple of names as well that are being talked about now. It's
Mm.
very early stages. I think it's not even been that long since the news broke out. But I think there are a couple of names that are going around. One of them is Liga FA sort of veteran who has
Mm.
managed multiple clubs in the competition, who has won the competition, who has won multiple trophies in Spain as well. Jose Sanchez Luis Vera, uh, who this season was managing Real Sociedad, not the best one.
Mm.
Admittedly, it did not go well, and I think with the way Real Sociedad are going down, I think they'll be losing players this term once again. They are about to lose Amayor to Atletico Madrid if
Yeah.
rumors are correct. So not the best. The squad wasn't the best, but this season, play style wise as well, they weren't the best. But last season, he was managing uh, Levante for
Mm.
the last 2 seasons after Maria Pri, and he did really well. Like last season, Levante were basically the second best side, if you ask me. Like in terms of their play style and everything, they were quite good. Like they got 60 points, just missed out by 1 point in the for the third place in the league last season. So he did a really good job. And before that, he had managed Atletico Madrid. He won the league with them in 2018-19 season. So a proven sort of track record to work with teams in Spanish football. He has an understanding of Spanish football very well. He knows clubs, multiple clubs inside out. He understands the league. He understands the play field quite well. So honestly, like I wouldn't mind this appointment if it is that. And there is some other name as well, Kanita. Would you like to take us through that? The other name that we are being linked with?
Yeah, so it's also Mila Martinez. So she the last team she coached is actually Tigres from Mexico, and she won the Super Cup with
Hmm.
Tigres while she was managing them, and it was for a year, but she was like on and off manager, and since Tigres 2023 2024 that she managed, she hasn't had well, a team for a year now. So yeah, she's free, and yeah, so this is another team that came up. So yeah, I mean there are few names that are available right now. I just we just saw like these two main ones that are circling around, but again, like it's not even been an hour, and it's difficult to say, you know. But we'll see. There's a lot of movements within Liga F as well. So yeah, I mean, and I know that's like for years I've been talking about Jose Luis Sanchez Vera. Yeah, like even 2 years ago, and just sacked her, just sacked her, bring Jose Luis, you know. And I've always liked him, so you know, and as you said, he's a veteran, so yeah, I would like him if there are no other more known names, but this for now is enough, you know, for the first hour.
Yeah.
For me, I'm very glad.
I think the thing that I like here is both the names are of managers who have been involved in women's football,
Yeah.
who have coached in this ecosystem before. So I personally would not want us to recruit anyone who hasn't worked in women's football before, no matter what they have achieved elsewhere. I don't care. I need somebody who has exclusively or at least for a significant period of time worked in women's football. And I think both these managers sort of meet it. If like whoever we sign will basically break down their gameplay, we'll talk about them a lot
Mm,
in much more detail when that move gets announced. But for now, I think it's a time to sort of uh celebrate in a way where you can cheer this, because I know everybody who has been following the team has been calling out for this, because it was long overdue. We needed this change, and it has finally come. So as a Madridista, honestly, it has been a great few days
yeah.
watching Barcelona just lose on the while being on the cusp of a three-peat. Great game that one. Arsenal really did a brilliant job. Sort of a
Mm,
similar game plan to what Real Madrid did. Us beating them this season, and then now at the end of the season, despite us reaching our record point tally, despite us breaking some of the records that you mentioned, we are getting rid of a manager. Who would have thought? Like,
yeah.
we were coming to the conclusion that he might never leave
Yeah.
because the board does not care about this. Like, the women's team is an afterthought in a lot of ways for the club. But well, even if it is sort of a move induced by what happened on the men's side, with the
Yeah.
movements, with Raul leaving, with Arbeloa getting promoted and everything, I think it is a move that is induced by that. I don't
Yeah.
care, as long as we have gotten rid of that. Even if that is what it has taken for it. I'm like, I love those domino effect. Ancelotti leaving, Xabi coming in, Raul leaving. Everything happened for a reason somehow. And yeah, enjoy this domino effect. It has been, we have to say thank you for your time, but it was time to go, and hopefully the future is much better. We have much better managers who can maximize our team, and we get to enjoy watching our team once again.
Yeah.
It would be really, really great. So yes, more things to look forward to next season. And this was an emergency pod. We have a season review, and season review, no, but sort of awards pod, where we see end of season awards, where we give away and sort of have a few categories where we would like to just discuss the best moments and the worst moments of the season. We will have that coming up shortly, so stay tuned. And once again, thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And yeah, thank you for your support. Enjoy this night. Until next time, Ala Madrid.
A la Madrid.